You guys, did you know that March 15th is National Espresso Martini Day, which honestly, after my birthday, is probably my favorite holiday.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love a good espresso martini? Well, today I'm here at the shop of 417 Cocktails in downtown Springfield with my bestie, Miss Mandy Fritz, and we're going to whip up a few drinks for you. Kettle One was kind enough to send me some products, so we're going to use some of the products they sent to make these cocktails. But before we get into the drinks, Mandy is my cocktail connoisseur and the knower of all things when it comes to mixology and all your favorite drinks out there. So, okay, I know you said you just recently listened to a podcast, a little bit about the history of the espresso martini. And I think that's something we forget about, that drinks that we know and love, there is a story and a history behind them.
And this one, for the espresso martini, it's really kind of crazy because it's a newer-ish cocktail. It's only been around like worldwide, probably maybe 20, 30 years or so.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Well, maybe more like, probably like 30 years.
Yeah.
But it's stuck around.
Yeah.
So it's great. So it's not quite as old as like an old fashioned or anything, but it was created in a bar in England by a bartender that was quite famous. The bar was quite famous as well. And it was an American supermodel who came in.
Wow.
And in different words, she said she needed something to wake her up and make her feel
good. Ready to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he had just put an espresso maker in his bar, and he was actually a little complaining and concerned that espresso beans kept falling in his ice well. And that kind of gave him the idea, what if we shake up some coffee? Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Like, who would have ever thought that this drink that, again, we know and love all stem from a supermodel who just needed something to get her through the day? I think that's insane.
We all need a little something?
Yes. And you were telling me too that espresso martinis are huge in the UK and in Australia. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So that was something else I learned from the podcast, is that Australia is like huge on coffee connoisseurs, like even bigger than we are.
Which is crazy because we were talking about, like, when you think about coffee distributors and where it's made, you think of like Central America, South America.
To be like 5 degrees either way on the equator. So it's quite crazy. So the espresso martini has been pretty big in both of those countries, but not so much here.
Okay.
Mainly because like our bars are bars, our coffee shops are coffee shops.
Okay.
They don't cross very often.
Right.
Well, when the pandemic came around, we kind of started drinking at home.
That buzzword.
We stopped going out.
Yeah.
We started enjoying, our comfy pants.
Yeah.
And kind of maybe stopped realizing how to talk one-on-one. So
I think I still have all those issues.
I
but
do
it's okay.
too. Yeah, I'm the same. But for everyone else.
Yeah.
So when we started able to get back out, we needed something to kind of wake us up.
Absolutely.
And get us going.
Yeah.
And what's better than the espresso martini?
What's better than it? And I think it's so funny too, because, it's become this a very common drink that a lot of people will order to kind of start their night, or with a group of friends to get drinks. Or sometimes, there's so many fabulous cocktail bars right here in the 417, and that's something that we commonly order. And a lot of people are like, how are you drinking espresso that late at night? And I'm like, well, sometimes it's just a mindset. The placebo effect, you just get through it.
Yes. Another thing that I've heard that I think is funny is that in America, the espresso martini has the fajita effect. That means if one person sees one come out, everyone's
getting
one.
it. Yeah. I think that's so real. Yeah.
So there's rumors, not bars around here, but there's rumors that like if the bartender's like, really in the weeds, they will pretty much tell, their servers, no espresso martinis.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they're not the easiest thing to make. Yeah. You've got to pull espresso. Well, we're getting ready to make one in a very easy way. But typically they're not, you've got to pull the espresso, you've got to shake it. There's a lot you got to do.
Well, and I like that you say there's a lot you can do with it, because I think we even see it with a lot of bars around here and in Missouri in general. Everyone's espresso martini is just a pinch different. Yes. Some are a little bit more citrusy. Some are more cream heavy. Like there's just a lot of different ways that you can tackle. And then you see, there's the seasonal ones now, of course. They do the pumpkin spice and the peppermint ones and all these beautiful things.
Did you ever see the one with Parmesan cheese?
What?
Yes.
Have you tried it?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's kind of like that
coffee.
Saltiness, like the salty savory. So why like the coffee works so well with the alcohol and why everyone's is a touch different is because every coffee is different. So if you're using a different espresso or a different cold brew or a different cocktail mix, it's going to taste different every time.
Do you prefer a cold brew or espresso in it? Because I will say I've noticed a lot of people around here, there is a difference in that.
You know, I prefer what is the easiest way to get it in me when I need an espresso martini.
So whatever is convenient.
Yeah, I have an espresso machine.
Yeah.
So if I want to like pull my own espresso, I also have Kingdom Coffee 2 doors down.
So you could do it.
So that's really fun. But sometimes I also just like, I don't know, sometimes when you need an espresso martini, you are tired. And it might be 3 p.m. and 5 o'clock somewhere.
You never know. Yes.
You know, so you don't want a lot of work and a lot of dishes. So.
Another question I just thought of is, you know, Kettle One, again, was so kind to send us the vodka, but I've noticed that some people will kind of, if you will, customize their espresso martini and do tequila. There's also a few places in town here that do that. Why was vodka the choice of spirit to put in the espresso martini, and why does tequila work as well?
So I believe vodka was the choice because vodka is typically the easiest to work with. It's not true that vodka doesn't have a taste. It does have a taste, but whereas other cocktails, you're using those spirits and you're using the ingredients to enhance the spirits. Vodka's kind of the opposite. We're using our ingredients to enhance like the vodka and such. So it's a little bit of the opposite. So vodka works great because it's just going to enhance that coffee and bring out the coffee. We've learned more and more that we learn about cocktails, and the more like fun and mixology we start to have, then it's like, what if we put some tequila in it? What if we do some gin? What if we do some mezcal? What about some bitters? So I think it's just more about us as just kind of society being okay with being a little bit more inventive and being okay with breaking the rules.
Absolutely. Well, and you talk about too, when you're teaching me about the different drinks to make, like palate is huge. And I think sometimes too, some of those different spirits just appeal to our palate a little bit more than others. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, well, that's the history lesson. So I'm going to put this on pause and we're going to make a drink here in just a second.